Hi everybody, welcome to my new YouTube channel, SSG VR, or Scale Speeder Gaming VR, which is an offshoot of my main channel, my main gaming, Scale Speeder Gaming channel, which I'll put a link in the description below this video. But I wanted to do a part of YouTube, have my own part of YouTube, which was just dedicated to my VR experiences. And we're going to be starting off with the Meta Quest 2. So in this video, I just want to sort of start by answering the question, why the Meta Quest 2 and what am I looking forward to doing with the Meta Quest 2, and I guess a little bit about my background from VR as well. So as far as YouTube goes, though, there's the Rob Dunn YouTube channel, which is technology and photography, and there's Scale Speeder Gaming, which is DayZ, PUBG, Call of Duty, Cyberpunk, that sort of stuff. And there's also going to be Scale Speeder or SSG handheld as well. So the idea with Scale Speeder VR is the stuff that I would normally put on the main channel, I'm not going to bother, because at the moment the algorithm really doesn't like it if you present videos to your subscribers that maybe they don't click on. And maybe, say, the people who really like my DayZ videos might not be interested in a VR video about Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's why we've got a separate channel. My background with VR is had the original PlayStation VR for the PlayStation 4 and enjoyed it as a arcade experience, just playing it for a bit, for like 20-30 minutes at a time. Didn't actually use it that much and kind of felt it was a bit of a waste of money at the time because it was quite expensive as well. I think it was about £250. And after that, I wasn't really interested in VR at all. Obviously, had the PlayStation 4, had the Xbox One, had the Xbox Series S, had the gaming PC. And again, VR wasn't really on my radar until I started messing around with Il-2 Sturmovik, the Battle of Stalingrad series, and the Cliffs of Dover series as well. Sort of World War II flight simulators. Now, previously, I really enjoyed playing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 on the Xbox and on the PC, and going so far as to buy the Flying Iron Spitfire and the Tomcat and enjoy flying those around. But it was really with the Battle of Stalingrad games, the Il-2 Sturmovik games, where I managed to pick up a cheap HOTAS as well, hands-on throttle and stick, sort of joystick, that was like, oh, maybe VR would be good, because when you're playing those games in a combat situation, the ability to look around the cockpit really quickly is very, very important. But still, I kind of just assumed that VR would be out of my reach. And then one day I was just looking on Amazon and I realised that the Meta Quest 2 could be had at the moment, at the time I'm recording this video, for about £200 or $200 US, which I thought, well, that's a bit of a bargain, isn't it, for what you get? The fact that you get a headset, you get two of the special controllers. And the things that I really, really excited me about the Quest 2 were the price, because I actually managed to pick it up from the O2 shop in the UK for, it was £50 I think for the headset you had to pay, and then £12.50 a month for 12 months, so £200 altogether, but a really affordable way into it. So that was really good. So the price was a big thing. The next thing was the fact that it is a wireless VR as well, capable of standalone VR and PC VR. So what does that mean? Well, it means that to use this as a virtual reality headset, you don't need to plug it into anything. You can just put it on, and it has a processor inside it based on Android, which means you can play VR games and have VR experiences independent of any other computer. Now, these experiences aren't the in-depth games like you would get on a PC, but, they're very interesting. There's things like Resident Evil 4 they've done in VR. You have things like Beat Saber. There'll be lots of like Crazy Golf. There's lots of different experiences that I'll be doing videos about and saying, are they worth having a play around with? So that's really good. And then the next thing is the fact that it can connect wireless to your PC as well. So you can use something like Steam Link, or you can use the Oculus Connect software to connect this wirelessly to your PC. So again, there's no wires involved. You just, once it's charged up, you just put it on your head, connect it to your PC, and then it streams the game over Wi-Fi. So you can be playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, Sturmovik, any of the VR games wirelessly. And one of the things that really annoyed me about the PlayStation 4 VR was the fact that you had all these wires hanging off you, and it was such a pain to set up. And the ability to do things wirelessly, just blew my mind. I thought, well, that's absolutely fantastic. And while we're talking about the £200 remember, it's the £200 for the whole thing. So you've got the headset. These controllers are absolutely amazing. So they have all these capacitance functions so that they know where your fingers are anyway before you even press the buttons. They've got little joysticks on. And if you think like something like an Xbox Series S or X controller or a PlayStation 5 controller, they're £50-60 anyway, aren't they? And I mean, I know these are a pair, but the fact that you get all of this for 200 is pretty much amazing. So what I was very excited about isn't necessarily playing the standalone games on the device, but it's really being able to delve into things like Microsoft Flight Simulator, things like the Sturmovik games, but also exploring the world of modded VR games as well. So there's all these games out there, but let's call them the flat games, like Cyberpunk, like Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Hogwarts Legacy, all these sorts of things. Flat games that people have created VR mods for, including things like Battlefield as well. So the ability to explore something like the opening single-player experience in Battlefield 1, in VR, that's really interesting to me. The ability to walk around Night City in Cyberpunk 2077, that really appeals to me. I'm really looking forward to using like the Resident Evil 7 VR mod, which supports touch controls as well. The thought of walking around Resident Evil 2 Remake in the Raccoon City Police Department, that blows my mind. So that's what I'm most excited about, diving in and doing this modding and experiencing that sort of thing and bringing those experiences to everybody on the channel, how I did it and what's it like, is it worth spending your money, all that sort of stuff. So my first experience, this is because I've had this for a couple of days now, is that the spatial part of it, with the fact that it does inside-out tracking, so you can just paint on the floor where your safe areas, or you can just tell it you're sitting down, is absolutely amazing. Playing games like I've had a brief go at like Green Hell VR, which is a standalone VR, which is cool. The Crazy Golf one, which is pretty cool. Just wandering around in the apps is pretty cool as well. And VR video is kind of okay. VR real video, it really depends on what the subject is, how interesting it is. However, I have already played around with flying a Spitfire around in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 wirelessly, using my gamepad, and I'll use my HOTAS at some point, and that was very, very impressive indeed. And that was over a 2.6 gigahertz connection, so doing it over a 5 gigahertz connection, or, as I say, you'll see in a video I've done about it, in a situation where you're actually sitting at your PC next to it because you're using a gamepad. It doesn't really do that much if you've got a long USB-C connector connecting your MetaQuest 2 to your PC, so you get that better resolution, that better FPS that way as well. And already that has blown my mind, really. I was really, really impressed with that. Also, the fact that it has built-in speakers, so you can hear. It's got a built-in mic. It has a black and white pass-through, so that you can tap on the outside of the headset and then you can see in black and white, so you can see where things are roughly for navigating you around and picking things up and finding where your controllers are, that sort of stuff. The fact that you can record gameplay on the device of games that you're playing standalone or from your PC, and then share them to the mobile app on your phone, and from there upload them to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you want to do, is very impressive as well. And I think that's a very content creators friendly experience I've had that way. So I'm really excited about this, really excited about looking forward to the experiences that I can experience, and also how, sharing them with everybody and saying, look, is it worth doing the Resident Evil 2 Remake mod to walk around Raccoon City in VR? Is it worth spending the money? I think it's on, is it Orb BX, I think, the paid for mod that goes through lots of stuff. How do you use the Unreal Engine 5 injection VR mod as well? Does it make it worthwhile? I'm very excited about bringing that to everybody. Of course, all the little things that I'm famous for on my YouTube channel as well is how do you record gameplay? How do you adjust your seat in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020? All those sorts of little hints and tips I'll be bringing you. And because I'm doing it on its own VR dedicated channel, it means that I can go into all those details where I probably wouldn't want to do that on the main channel. So anyway, thank you very much for sharing this time with me. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed already and you're thinking, oh, this content looks interesting, please subscribe. Like the video as well if you can. And of course, I'll see you again soon.